Ladies and gentlemen, a shocking statement is now making headlines across international media. The next one is Cuba. These powerful words, linked to former U.S. President Donald Trump, have ignited intense debate across the world. What exactly does this mean? Is this a political warning, a diplomatic message, or the beginning of a new chapter in U.S.-Cuba relations? Today, we break down the full story, the possible meaning behind the statement, and why the world is paying close attention. Reports circulating on social media and news platforms suggest that Donald Trump has made remarks implying that Cuba could become the next major focus of U.S. political attention. The phrase "the next is Cuba" has quickly spread online, generating thousands of reactions, comments, and speculation. Supporters interpret it as a strong foreign policy message. Critics see it as political rhetoric aimed at upcoming elections and international influence. But one thing is certain. This statement has reopened old questions about the relationship between the United States and Cuba. For decades, the two nations have had a complex and often tense history. So when a major political figure like Trump mentions Cuba, it immediately becomes global news. To understand why this matters, we need to look back at history. The relationship between the United States and Cuba has long been shaped by conflict, ideology, and diplomacy. For many years, Cuba was seen as one of America's most significant geopolitical concerns, especially during the Cold War. The Cuban Missile Crisis remains one of the most dangerous moments in modern history. During that period, the world came dangerously close to nuclear war. Since then, sanctions, diplomatic restrictions, and political disagreements have continued to define the relationship. Under different U.S. administrations, the approach toward Cuba has shifted dramatically. Some leaders pushed for normalization. Others adopted a tougher stance. Donald Trump, during his presidency, was known for taking a stricter position on Cuba compared to previous administrations. This is why his latest statement is attracting serious international attention. Now let's analyze the possible meanings behind the statement. There are several possibilities. First, this may be political pressure. Trump may be signaling a tougher foreign policy approach toward Cuba if he gains political power again. This could include stricter sanctions, travel restrictions, or economic pressure. Second, this may be part of an election strategy. Foreign policy statements often play a strong role during election campaigns. By mentioning Cuba, Trump may be speaking directly to voter groups who strongly support a hardline stance. Third, this could be a broader global message. The statement may be directed beyond Cuba itself. It could be a message that the United States intends to reassert stronger influence in the region. This kind of messaging often has diplomatic implications. Even a short statement can move markets, affect political alliances, and create media waves. International observers are now closely watching for any official response. Governance analysts and political commentators are asking what comes next. Will there be an official policy proposal? Will Cuba respond? Will this affect U.S.-Latin America relations? Across social media, reactions have been divided. Some describe the statement as bold leadership. Others criticize it as unnecessarily provocative. If any concrete political action follows this statement, Cuba could face major consequences. Possible areas of impact include trade restrictions, tourism, diplomatic relations, economic sanctions, and international partnerships. Cuba's economy has already faced significant challenges in recent years. Any renewed U.S. pressure could intensify these issues. At the same time, stronger political pressure often leads countries to seek alternative alliances. This could reshape regional diplomacy. This story is not only about Cuba. It is about the future direction of global politics. Whenever major world leaders make statements involving other nations, markets, diplomats, and media all respond rapidly. The world now wants to know whether this is simply political language or a preview of real action. So what do you think? Is Cuba really the next major focus of Donald Trump's foreign policy vision? Or is this simply a strategic political statement? Stay informed, stay ahead, and see you in the next story.